That's me. I'm Danny Bonaduce, and I am your life coach, and damn if I'm not proud of it. You can call me up right now. I got some phone lines open, 1-800-252-1025. Or if you can't call, you can go to lifecoach@KZOK.com. Life Coach is brought to you by Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Now, Jim is on the line from Seattle, and it says his 15-year-old daughter is talking to strangers online. He blocked her Facebook. And what should he do next? Should he go to the police? I want you to know, Jim, that every adult in this room kind of panicked on your behalf. And this is a doable and manageable problem. Jim, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Last night I got a call from my ex-wife, and she was all upset about my daughter talking to somebody online. So we went ahead and got her password through the Facebook and got onto her account and saw the conversation that she was having on her Facebook with this person. They're out of Oregon somewhere. And it was a couple different people she was talking to, but it was all in the same town. And I'm concerned that it's the same person in all three people to the same person is what I'm worried about.
You know what? If you slow down on this, Jim, because you're a smart cat, if you slow down in this and you read them all at the same time, you'll know if that's the same guy or not. People use the same expressions, the same slang, they punctuate the same way, they fail to capitalize, they do capitalize. Whatever it is, they have consistencies, so you'll be able to tell if it's the same person. So what is your question for me?
Well, my question is, what do I do with this information now? When I'm reading the text and stuff like that, it sounds like an adult talking, just with the words that they're using, the punctuation that they're using. Do I take this to the police?
Well, what are the conversations?
The conversation it's very sporadic, and I'm missing quite a bit of it because I'm coming into the tail end of the conversation. I don't know what the conversation was beforehand. They're talking about, they want to meet up. They want to.
Has she disclosed that she's 15 years old?
Yeah, she is 15 years old.
No, is she disclosed? Does the person on the other end of that conversation know that the person they're talking with online is 15?
I'm not aware if they know or not.
If they don't know, that rules out cops right there. Your daughter is not, they have to know that she's 15 years old, first of all. And, I can hear in your voice, there's no demand for a blatant demand for a sexual relationship. So what you're worried about is what happens in the future, because I think you're a worried father, and as well you should be. Sarah, who does not have kids, said, how the hell do you raise a kid in this technological age, in the online age? It must be so scary. And Paul, whose daughter is 4, said, I know I'm scared. So, you couldn't be more around the board that everybody is with you on this. But don't panic, my friend. First of all, this happens to every 15-year-old girl, and very few of them have terrible repercussions, except the problem is the ones that do have repercussions, they're hard to ever get over. So you're doing the right thing, being watchful. If the conversation has not gone towards sex and drugs, or why don't you come here, why don't you cross state lines to meet me right now, there's very little you can do. I would suggest that you talk to your daughter and have the first thing you do is have her tell this person, I'm 15. And then if it goes anywhere from there, then you can absolutely call the police. Now you got Chris Hansen looking at him. In the meantime, you know what? It wouldn't hurt you to have her watch an episode of Catfish. I watched that with my kids. Have you ever seen it, Jim?
Yes, I have.
Okay, that's exactly, the predator thing doesn't normally happen on that show, but what does happen is it's somebody absolutely faking, they're pretending who they're not who they say they are. And that's the lesson I taught my daughter. I said, everybody that you think is your little girlfriend when she was 15 or whatever, your daughter's age, I said, do you know that that's a 300-pound man in his underwear in Wyoming? And she said, yes, I do. As long as she keeps it, that could be anyone and doesn't get fooled. So this all lands on your doorstep, that you have to keep her educated and informed of what it could be, what it is on MTV with Catfish, of channel she probably watches, and then just monitor as you have done for any sexual overtures. But I think on this you're going to be fine. You're not mad enough for this to have gone where you think it's going to go, and I don't think it's going to go there now that you've entered the picture, Jim. I think actually, and this never happens on Life Coach, you're going to be just fine. And when you're not, you'll know to go to the police. Thanks, Jed.
800-252-1025. You can make that call now if you've got a problem and need the help of the life coach. Danny is here to help you, so make the call this morning. Linda in Seattle, you're next.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Danny. I'm scared.
Okay, what can I do for you?
I have a daughter who just turned 40.
Yeah.
She's very successful, never married, had her own mocha stand for 25 years and sold it. Never did drugs, alcohol, and now she went to detox for 5 days.
Okay, let me tell you this right off the bat, Linda. I know you're worried, but the conversation to cry about is when they don't go to detox. Don't think there's no crying about going to detox. I mean, it's the right thing to do. She's your kid. Cry all day if you want to. But the crying is when they don't go. They're calling up and saying, my daughter will not go to detox. I think she's going to die. She drinks so much, her liver's going to shut down. She's shooting heroin. Your kid, 40 years old, grown woman, successful, went to rehab. Did she go voluntarily?
Yes.
All right, I think once again, it's 2 calls in a row. I think you are absolutely on the right track. This young lady knows she has a problem. Nobody can tell her what to do. She's 40 years old. She's done well in life. You can't make a 40-year-old grown-up who's done well in life and isn't compelled by the courts go to rehab. So she's doing all the right stuff right now. So what's your question for me, Linda?
My question is, like I said, she went to detox for 5 days. She went straight there and checked herself into a facility. And 30 days, Danny, is 30 days enough?
I got to tell you, it wasn't for me. And I went to 30 days 3 different times, and it was never enough. I'll tell you when it's enough is when it's enough. When you can't take... I hate using old cliches. They're anything but old cliches. I hate using cliches, but the expression is, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what it's going to be for your daughter. But here's the good news there, Linda, is that... and by the way, what is she doing? Is she drinking drugs? What's she doing?
Never drank, never done drugs in her life. The last 6 months, you are who you run with. She got in with a bad crowd and started, I don't know, I know she was shooting herself with something.
She went from doing no drugs at all to shooting up drugs?
Never in her life.
Amazing.
Never even smoked pot, no alcohol, no nothing.
You know what? You got a smart kid there. She ran with the wrong crowd. She did the right thing. She went into rehab. I think she's going to be fine. And by the way, most rehabs have another 30 days free of charge if you relapse. Now, if you wanted to do another 30 days without coming out, I'd say she's 40 years old. Let her experience the, and I'm guessing she's going to at least have a drink when she comes out and then maybe check herself back in, and they'll probably cover that. But here's the thing on this. You're not going to have such dire circumstances with this girl. She's 40 years old. She's lived her whole life. She made a mistake. She's a fad is what she is. It's like wearing bell bottoms or dancing to disco. She did it. She had her run, but now it's behind her. I think she's going to be just fine on this. And if she's not, push her to check herself back in. But I think really this girl, she's 40 years old, done so well with her life, ran with the wrong crowd. It's like meeting the wrong guy, Linda. It just happens. And now it's behind her. I truly believe she's going to be fine. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate the phone call.
Got time for an email, and that email is always available to you, lifecoach@KZOK.com. Carrie in Bellevue writes, my 11-year-old went camping with the Girl Scouts last weekend. Her friends asked her to get into an old locker to see if she'd fit, and she agreed to. Then the girls locked it, shook the locker violently. She was crying and begging to get out, but they wouldn't let her. After a few minutes, somebody figured out she was in there, and unlocked it. She spent the rest of the weekend crying alone in her cabin. I wasn't told about what happened until the next meeting with all the other parents. I didn't lose my cool, but I wanted to. Should I let it go or make the issues known? What's next?
I will tell you what's next. The next thing to the next kid. I don't love it. If you want to find out why you weren't informed, go ahead and find out why you weren't informed. But somebody stuffed an 11-year-old in a locker at camp. You mean, don't tell me, was there also a panty raid? Don't tell me, did somebody's s'mores catch fire? To your daughter who was in I'm going to go with an aluminum box that was getting banged and it was loud and it was horrible. It's a bad night out, but don't make it more than that. It's the cost of being 11. We were just talking to a father, a really nice guy named Jim, who's worried about his 15-year-old talking to strangers online. These are the costs of being young in the day and the age that we live in. Being stuffed in a locker. It happened to my father. It happened, it happened to me. I got pantsed, is what it was called at Woodland Hills Elementary School. They stole your clothes. I got hit with a wet towel. It's a drag. Nobody said anything to anybody, not because it was a secret. And oh my God, what do we do? It's the cost of being young. Now, if there's any damage and your daughter needs to see a doctor, a psychologist, well, then you need to go raise hell. If you want to find out what that counselor, why mom was not informed, and you should have been, you go raise hell. But if you're going to try and talk your daughter out of being 11 years old, it's a mistake. People get locked in locker. People get pants. People get short-sheeted or whatever the pranks are that they do. So don't talk your kid out of being 11. She had a rough day being 11. I would think that most days of being 11 are kind of rough. I think your daughter's going to be a better person for all of this, and you should have a talk with the counselors for not informing a mother that something weird happened to their kid at camp. But your daughter, she's just fine. Well, that was it. She was 11 and went to school. That's what happens that day. Hey, that is all the time we have for Danny Bonaduce, life coach, and I appreciate everything everybody's called in and emailed. Life Coach is brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE.